Doris Barnett, Florida girl, Doris Barnett.
Good morning, everyone. I am a Florida girl, transplanted from West Virginia. I grew up roaming the warm brown sand on the beaches of Florida, the beauty of the beaches, the quiet nights, the wildlife. Ah, so wonderful. With strange neighbors, though. Snakes and brothers and spiders and crabs were just some of the beasts that surrounded me. I was also used to seeing alligators everywhere. Many a time I had to skip around a gator or two just to get to school. And more than once, an unfortunate incident with an oversized land crab. Therefore, when I received the invitation for an all expenses paid 9-week vacation at a wonderful time-resolved South Carolina resort, I jumped at the chance. It would be just like home, just free, with only a blank check that I signed, which might not ever be cashed. And to top it all off, it was free of bugs, free of gators, and free of brothers. This resort was called Paris Island. It has its place in history in the hearts of all Marines. Everywhere, it has the unique distinction of being not only the land that God forgot, but of being the training base for all women Marines. This distinction is important because there are, of course, all the normal ladies events, tire jumping, rope climbing, and ditch jumping, but also little well-known womanly pursuits such as grenade throwing and gas chamber initiative, where you got to go in and smell the wonderful aroma and cry for hours afterwards. Our 9-week vacation also included training in military history with particular attention to the Marine Corps history. Our sojourn included lessons in manners and keeping a trim figure. Obviously that took. So when the rumors of gators and other creepy crawlies of the night were banded about in whispers, I wasn't overly concerned. After all, I grew up around gators and I had left my brothers at home, so creepy crawlies didn't bother me too much. Still, I was a little concerned the first time I was assigned to night guard duty. There were noises at night. The stairs carried weird sounds up to the barracks. But no one ever saw anything, except one time, the report of one of my co-trainees disappearing. She was from another platoon though, so we didn't worry too much about her. Somebody reported they'd seen a gator outside. Still nothing to be concerned about, right? We had guards. They were assigned. They were trained. I wasn't given a shotgun though, not even a pistol. They put me at a little desk in the lobby with little cards where I could check things in and out, and told me to watch and make sure that everything was done correctly. Mainly, I think they wanted me to make sure that nobody got up in the night and snuck out. Because of course we were isolated. All these women in this barrack, no men anywhere around. We occasionally saw a man or two in training classes, but that was it. So that was a possibility. But I stood my first guard duty. I was so proud. I went up to the desk, and then I sat there in boredom for 4.5 hours. Again, next time, guard duty. Again, those strange noises. And by this time, I'd heard reports of guards who had disappeared. And there were thumps in the night past the beds that didn't sound like footsteps, at least not of people. The noise was more of a slither, ka-thump, slither than a march. Slither, ka-thump, slither. But everything was fine, just fine. At least until the morning of the laundry delivery. One of the benefits of being in the military was your laundry was done for you at night. Need I mention the guards were the one who did it? It was delivered, dumped in a pile on the floor, spread out on a poncho. and we had to dig through for our own unmentionables. They were all shuffled together. On this particular morning, we moved to get our clothing. As I reached out for one of my own unmentionables, the pile moved. I thought it was one of the other women, but the next time I made a grab, the pile moved again. And I heard gasps around me. Oh no. The pile seemed to shake. It shifted. And then this green, scaly monster, 20 feet long, with ugly beady eyes and snarly teeth, raised its head up right among the unmentionables and roared a challenge. All my early experience paid off then. I knew just what to do. I grabbed that slimy beast by the tail. I thunked him on the ground. I twirled him overhead and thunked him down the other way. So he was both dizzy and in too much pain to resist. He was still struggling. So I showed him not to mess with someone who's both a Florida girl and a Marine. I lifted him up and I spun him around, and when I was done, I had Gatorade. Mr. Topic, Mr.
Sherry Holt, is happiness a myth? Is happiness a myth? Sherry Holt.
I'm bored. Do I really have to do anything today? I'm by myself. No one is around. The dishwasher needs to be loaded. Laundry needs to be done. Oh, and I've got to put gas in the car. But guess what? The prices have gone up again. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? All these things just seem to want to make us unhappy. We live in a world right now of uncertainty. The pandemic has brought about many sad and uncertain days. We're afraid, we're secluded, we're lonely. All that seems to do is just make us unhappy. We think that happiness should just be an automatic state of mind. We seem to think that the world is rosy. We see it through rose-colored glasses. Let me tell you a secret. If we didn't have down days, we wouldn't know what happy times are when they're just right in front of us. However, happiness is what you make it. We need to know and realize that a lick from your dog on the face, finding that lost dollar bill in the dryer, someone paying it forward, letting you in line at Walmart before everybody else in their pajamas shows up. Is your glass half empty? Is your glass half full? Do you even have a glass at all? You're responsible for your own happiness. It's truly not a myth. The Bible even tells us, be content in whatever state you are in. However, there's got to be something to happiness. Do you think of happiness as just being something just out there, just out of reach? It's waiting for you just beyond some achievement, a goal, a change in your circumstances. This makes our happiness contingent on things we directly cannot control. However, we always have the opportunity to improve our quality of life at the single moment. However, that lies within each one of us, not with luck, not with status, or anything else external. However, Happiness is too easily confused with gratification. Gratification is just simply getting what you want. As a strategy for our happiness, gratification is just really not a really good reason. Number one, you don't always get what you want. The Rolling Stones told us that. Depending on getting what you want means you want that much more the next time, and that much more the next time after that. Well, then that gives us the third reason that gratification is not a success for happiness. Soon you'll spend all your money on all those wants instead of all of those needs, and you won't be able to have the things you need. When that happens, you're going down the wrong rabbit hole. It ends up being, then I don't have the money to do the things I need to do. We perceive ourselves, though, as needing something or someone all the time. Human nature. We need more security, more money, more possessions, approval of others. These actions are really futile. They're not providing us anything. However, our ways to our happiness are, we need to be with others, and especially others that smile. We need to hold on tightly, especially in these times, to our values. Accept the good, imagine the best, and find a purpose. Listen to your heart and be open to change. Happiness, your happiness, is a fulfillment of yourself. It's within your grasp, even though you sometimes think it's out of reach. Happiness can be a fuzzy, fuzzy shadow. By continuing to stare at it and trying to figure it out, you overlook what's standing right in front of you, your happiness. Mr. Contest Master.
Nancy Cross. Nancy Cross.
Good morning, Toastmasters, contestant master, and especially our target speaker, Sherry Holt. What a relevant speech for this time. It was great for the entire audience, not only for the time we are in with this pandemic, and all of us have been through some of what Sherry has talked about. Is happiness a myth? That was the title of her speech. And she talked about happiness. What is happiness? What is happiness to us? She also talked about the pandemic and she gave us a reference using the Bible as a reference, saying that the Bible says that we should be content. I enjoyed Sherry's gestures, and I especially liked the fact that she said, some people put on the rose-colored glasses. That was great, especially with the format that we have right now. She was dressed the part, she was dressed professionally, and she talked very comfortably. I could hear her enunciation was great. The content of the speech as well, she asked us to look at what is really what we want or what we need. we must decipher between the two. I thought this was a great presentation. I really enjoyed it. The golden nugget that I would give Sherry is the beginning of the speech started a little bit slow. I would start it out with a little more and say, I'm bored this morning. What am I gonna do? A little more, something to hook us in. All in all, it was a great speech, Sherry. Wouldn't mind hearing it again, Mr. Contest Master.